Welcome to Your Health, where we explore the latest in health across the country. I'm Erica Cardenas. The new year is here and we want to help you jumpstart your health with some practical advice. But before we get started, let's take a look at what's coming up on the show. The one thing you should do this year for better health, how dental technology can help your overall lifestyle, and how new heart innovations are aiding patients with heart disease. All that and more in this episode of Your Health. Jumpstarting a healthy lifestyle doesn't have to be difficult, and here to tell us all about that is Dr. Sharon Thompson. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you.
So first off, what is the number one thing people can do to jumpstart their health this year?
The number one thing, it's hard to pick one because there's several, but I would say be honest with yourself. I think a lot of people, especially around this time of year where we're making resolutions, they make someone else's resolutions, right?
Right.
It's I should, I oughta, and so they make these resolutions that are not realistic for their life at all. So the first thing you want to do is be honest about what you can do and what you're interested in doing. Physicians will tell you the exercise program that works, the diet that works, is the one you stick to.
What are some things we can do to keep our eating habits on track?
I like to keep it very, very simple because there's so much information out there, especially with Dr. Google, right? You can find everything that's ever been written about diet. So you want to keep it extremely simple, something that you can actually do. And so I like to tell people when you make a meal, any meal, and let's picture a plate, half of it should be vegetables.
Okay.
Right? So if you make half your plate vegetables, and remember, corn and potatoes are not vegetables. So that's key. Half vegetables, 1/4 of that plate, protein. And then sometimes you're going to put carbohydrates in that other quarter of the plate.
Now let's jump over to the fitness track. What are some ideas that we can incorporate over there? Should we, schedule our routines, our fitness routines ahead of time? Should we get an exercise buddy? What should we do?
Sure, both those things are great.
Okay.
Because the thing that determines our behavior the most is our environment. So if you're working 14 hours a day, it's going to be hard to fit in exercise. So you got to look at where it fits in for you. Getting a buddy definitely helps. We can disappoint ourselves all day long, but we tend not to disappoint other people.
Right.
So a buddy definitely helps. Studies show that people who exercise in the morning exercise more consistently. So definitely scheduling makes a difference. The busy day gets going, you get exhausted, you get home, you just want to sit on your couch. That's why mornings work better.
Now, doctor, how much sleep should we be getting every night?
Studies show that healthy adults should get between 7 to 9 hours every night. And that really is the amount that your body requires. We often think, oh, I don't need as much sleep. I only need 4 hours. I only need 5 hours. And studies show that that is not the case. We function better when we're rested. People who are trying to lose weight, they have trouble losing it if they're not getting enough sleep. Tasks that require concentration and judgment, we don't do as well if we're not getting enough sleep. So really, even if you think you're getting away with it, you're not.
Any final tips on what people can do to jumpstart their health?
I would say make yourself a priority. Oftentimes, for the vast majority of us, we are very good about showing up to work every day, but the promises for ourselves we don't keep. Right? So we have to make ourselves a priority. And I think that will shift the mindset. Instead of putting work first and your family and the grocery list and everything else, put yourself on that task list pretty high up and try to keep that promise to yourself every single day.
Absolutely. Such great advice. Thank you so much again for being here with us,
thank you for having
Doctor. If you'd like to learn more about getting in touch with Dr. Sharon Thompson, just head over to their website. Having dental issues can impact your overall life, and for one patient, he says finding New Day's Smile gave him the life he was looking for.
For me to go out and perhaps sing karaoke, I love it. I haven't gone out and sang with my friends in about 3 years. It changes your personality to where you don't show up anymore and you stop doing things you love. So I went to a few oral surgeons, implant specialists, and Dr. Valadez exuded so much confidence during when we were doing the consult. And he said to me, Dale, you're going to be a great case.
Well, Dale came in, he had no teeth on the top, and on the lower he has a few teeth left. They're all breaking down. They all have decay, and he's unhappy. He can't eat. He can't smile, and he told us, "Hey, I just want to have my life back. I want to live again."
And I was raised by a single mother, and I could still hear her voice echoing in my head, "Honey, take care of your teeth," because I've had bridges, I've had crowns, I've had a complete reconstruction done on my mouth where every tooth in my mouth was crowned, root canals, and eventually they started failing, and the failing accelerated. About 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. So that's when it really started getting bad.
After looking at his CT scan, we assessed that he was a candidate for teeth in a day. Teeth in a day is a procedure in which we place implants, in the patient, and we make him a fixed prosthetic. That's in they fixed, meaning it's permanent. It stays in their mouth.
To me, this is as much of a gift to me as it was to survive cancer, because this is giving me the life to live that was saved by doctors 5 years ago.
And then one of the great things about this is that the day Dale comes in for his surgery, he doesn't have to wait. He's gonna walk out with teeth, right? So he'll come in without teeth, he'll get implants, he'll leave with teeth. They'll be his temporary teeth, they won't be his permanents, but he'll leave with teeth. Then in about 4 or 5 months, we'll make him his permanent set of teeth, which will be made out of porcelain. And they'll look beautiful, they'll function just like normal teeth do. You walked in here with no teeth on the top,
Yeah.
2 teeth in your hand,
Yeah.
teeth breaking down, and then you have a full system.
Look at this. It's like a modern day medical dental miracle. And really the number one thing is just to be able to go out and not be embarrassed to laugh with my friends. I mean, it's really life-changing.
Here's a healthy tip. Surround yourself with good company that support and enrich your life. This will make you a happier person. There's no doubt that the connection between your personal relationships impacts your overall well-being. Stick around, we have more coming up on the show. We'll take a look at the latest in heart innovations and the difference rehab can make for those with pulmonary disease. Pulmonary disease can cause severe breathing issues in patients, but with pulmonary rehab, these patients can be helped immensely.
Breathing is essential to life. If you can't breathe, it's stressful. Your body, your brain understands that you're not getting the air that you need, and it goes into stress mode, which is flight or fight.
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, is a group of diseases which includes emphysema, chronic bronchitis, and chronic asthma. In addition, you may have combinations of each of these diseases, which makes the group total to 9 different categories of diseases.
It can be genetic that you get from your family, but more commonly it's an acquired disease, most commonly associated with smoking.
The mainstay of treatment of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is an assessment by a competent physician or pulmonologist with referral to a pulmonary rehabilitation program.
I truly believe in pulmonary rehab, and it has a huge effect on preventing progression of the disease. So it gives my patients the knowledge to have better control of the disease.
I'm a firm believer in pulmonary rehab and its essential role in the treatment of any patient with any kind of lung disease. I was overjoyed to find out that there was a program in La Mesa. Just having a program in East County has been a godsend, literally. I've been so impressed with just how much your staff cares about each individual patient. No one ever hugs me after I give them an inhaler, But I get hugs after I send people to pulmonary rehab, and especially La Mesa Pulmonary Rehab.
Wow. The best part of coming to La Mesa Rehab for pulmonary therapy is that I've got my life back again, and this is part of my life. I wasn't even able to feed him before I got to La Mesa Rehab, and now I'm able to walk him up and down the stairs, and it's just been a wonderful experience for me.
Now I can walk on the hillside. My breathing is much better.
They smile, they laugh, they rediscover the joy of living. So less than 3% of patients in the United States with COPD get pulmonary rehab. It's a huge problem, and one that pulmonologists and our professional organizations are trying to address. Many voices create a loud noise, so it's really imperative that people talk about this and talk about it to their friends, to their neighbors, and just start getting people engaged.
People ask me why I'm so passionate about pulmonary rehab. My own father died at the age of 72 from emphysema. I know we could have increased his lifespan by another 10 to 15 years if he had had access to a program like this. Pulmonary rehab is life-saving, and I want to bring this program to as many people as possible.
Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. has a heart attack. The doctors at Honor Health are working hard on innovations to help save lives.
If you look at how we're treating heart patients now compared to just 10 years ago, it's almost completely different. What we do in the catheterization lab has been a revolution in cardiovascular therapies. What's happened is we now are seeing more complex patients. Those complex patients that only the surgeons could treat from a coronary standpoint, we've come full circle, and we now may have more ways of treating those patients than even the surgeons do. One of the other real advances in cardiovascular disease management is in the treatment of valvular heart disease. We are treating lower risk patients, whereas when we started off, we were treating only the high risk patients, only those patients that surgeons couldn't treat. We've evolved again to treating low risk patients. 50 and 60-year-olds who always went to open heart surgery are now being treated for their valvular heart disease in the cardiac catheterization laboratory. And what's really unique about this is that there's a whole team that weighs in on how best to treat patients. There's the surgeon, there's the interventional cardiologist, there's the general cardiologist, there's the imaging specialist who also has a very pivotal role in weighing in on how these patients are best treated. So it's been a remarkable evolution, or maybe revolution, in the treatment of heart disease.
Imaging has changed greatly since I was in training once upon a time. It really took off, though, within the past 10, 15 years with the advent of advanced TEE and other echo probes that allow us to look at the heart with 3D. And what that's done is that we can actually look at the entire heart with one heartbeat, see exactly what's going on, and be able to put things into a different spatial relationship. Being able to get 3D images allows us to look at the heart with multiple areas all at one time, which allows us to really say exactly where a problem is coming from, and then allows us to actually plan how we need to go about fixing that problem. So the Honor Health Research Foundation is incredibly important for everything that we do. And it has really allowed us to advance everything in our program. This is important because the nature of structural heart disease is that there is not one single perfect answer. That's where research technologies really do come into play, because they offer an expansion beyond what we have right now.
Scottsdale Interventional Forum, it's a 4-day continuing medical education program. And then, of course, the highlight for me is the community event where the lay public, non-medical people, come to learn about what's new and what are their treatment choices and options if they have heart disease.
Here's another healthy tip: unplug once a week. Technology may make our lives better in some ways, but some people become obsessed with constantly checking their social media sites. Unplugging will give you the time for you, perhaps de-stressing or relaxing. Here's what's coming up next on Your Health. We talk with a woman who says dental implants changed her life, and a center that has a unique approach to help people struggling with addiction. Heroin addiction is extremely difficult, but one father was able to do just that. He shares his road to sobriety and why he's thankful he found Decision Point Center.
I went to school for a little while at ASU, and then I started working full-time doing construction, got a place on my own, and me and my son and my son's mom moved in together. I started drinking a little bit more and started drinking more frequently by myself. I was dealing with stress, anxiety, and I started turning to, drugs, pills, whatever the case may be, kind of just searching for an escape. Me and my son's mom ended up splitting up when my son was about 3. I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, all right, this is my last night. This is the last time I'm gonna drink or whatever. I had ended up losing my apartment. I was basically living out of my car or hopping couches. And I was on the verge of, losing my son. At that point, I'm like, I need some help. I need to go to treatment. I did my research online, started looking at different places throughout the valley, and then Decision Point came up. They kind of welcomed me in with open arms and were very encouraging. Some of the other treatment centers, they kind of put everybody into one big bowl and treat a lot of the clients the same. Whereas here, they have specific treatment plans for each individual. We have a really close community, a really great group of people here. We spend every day together. My first month here, I got to go on a canyoneering trip. And for me, that's a very therapeutic aspect because being out in nature is something I really hold dear to myself. Not only was it a great view, but it was a great challenge as well. It kind of correlates to what sobriety is gonna be like. You pushing through and not giving in when the times get tough is where growth is made. I've been here for 90 days now, and today I am graduating. They make sure you have a clear-cut plan for when you leave here, so that way you're best set up for success. Decision Point saved my life. They didn't just teach me how to get sober, they taught me how to stay sober. And they taught me how to love myself again because I didn't think that was possible before. Today I have confidence in myself, I believe in myself. I really am optimistic of what the future holds for me. I've kept in contact with my son since I've been here. I can be a present and sober dad for him and give him the father that he deserves. I know how it feels to feel hopeless and in despair, but there's absolutely a way out, and you just have to give the opportunity to go into treatment. I believe that when you surrender, when you stop fighting things, that's when you're able to make the growth. But I know it's a tough decision to make, but it's the best decision I've ever made. I'm Blake, I'm 26 years old, and I was a heroin addict.
Don't go away, we have more coming up on Your Health. See how making the right dental choices can impact your life.
From innovations in medicine to eating better, Your Health is filled with great ideas to help you live your best life. If you'd like more health stories and information, head to yourview.com.
Sandra says making the decision to go from dentures to implants changed her life in ways she never imagined.
You always want to be able to smile. I smile anyway, and then if there's a tooth that's missing, you're always covering up. I just want a nice smile.
Sandy came in with she had a lot of dental work already done on her upper, and she was complaining that things were breaking down. She had a couple of teeth that were breaking down. Her bridge was loose. And at this point, there was too much damage to try to save her existing teeth.
And that's when they said, hey, you can't have a bridge anymore because there's no tooth to hold it in. So he says, either you can have dentures or go with implants.
She had the option to do both teeth in a day, the fixed teeth, the permanent teeth, or to do a snap-in denture. And Sandy loved the idea of the denture being able to be removed by herself, just for hygiene, and she thought that would be a better fit for her. So that's what we did for her, and she's been very pleased with that.
I really liked my bridge, but there was no point, even going that way. So I was glad that they could do something, and the implants, like I said, were the way for me to go.
Bridges have been around forever. They work. The problem is when they fail, that whole unit fails, it has to be removed, and those neighboring teeth have to be reshaped down. Okay, and every time you work on a tooth, there's a risk of needing a root canal or an extraction. Okay, now if you do an implant, you never had to shave those teeth down. Okay, so you're keeping those teeth strong and healthy. So if you ask me what would you recommend, an implant or a bridge, 100% of the time you want to do an implant because you don't want to grind healthy teeth down. A dental implant, it's a titanium post that goes into jawbone or maxilla bone, and it mimics the root of a tooth, and it will allow us to replace either a single tooth, multiple teeth, or a full set of teeth. Everyone's a candidate for dental implants. Anyone that's missing a tooth is a candidate. We run a series of tests. We do the CT scan, of course, check for bone volume, quality, etc. But even, as long as you're missing a tooth, you're a candidate. And it doesn't mean we could always just go in there and place the implant. We might have to do other procedures first, but you're always a candidate to get an implant.
They are fantastic. It's just as good as having your real teeth, which I'm really surprised, is that they fit really, really good. It makes you feel good, and you want people to see you smile more. It's a good feeling to have a good smile.
Thank you for joining us on Your Health. We hope you make this new year a healthy and happy one. I'm Erica Cardenas. See you next time.